Welcome to our video on the top 5 biggest Ponzi schemes in the world. Ponzi schemes are fraudulent investment operations in which returns are paid to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors, rather than from profit earned. These schemes often collapse when the operator can no longer attract enough new investors to pay returns to older ones. In this video, we will take a look at some of the most notorious Ponzi schemes in history, their methods of operation, and the impact they had on the victims. So sit back and enjoy the video. Number 5. The Global. This scheme, run by Sergei Mavrodi, promised investors high returns through investments in a social financial network. However, the majority of the money invested was being used to pay returns to existing investors, rather than being invested in the network. The scheme was exposed in 2016 and investors lost billions of dollars. Number 4. The Telex Free. This scheme, run by James Merrill and Carlos Wanzeler, promised investors high returns through investments in an online phone service. However, the majority of the money invested was being used to pay returns to existing investors, rather than being invested in the phone service. The scheme was exposed in 2014 and investors lost over $1 billion. Number 3. The OneCoin. This scheme, run by Ruja Ignatova, promised investors high returns through investments in a cryptocurrency called OneCoin. However, the currency did not actually exist and Ignatova was using money from new investors to pay returns to existing investors. The scheme was exposed in 2016 and investors lost billions of dollars. Number 2. The Zeek Rewards. This scheme, run by Paul Burks, promised investors high returns on their investments through a penny auction website. However, the vast majority of the money invested was being used to pay returns to existing investors, rather than being invested in the website. The scheme was exposed in 2012 and investors lost over $600 million. Number 1. Bernard Madoff's. This Ponzi scheme, perpetrated by Wall Street financier Bernard Madoff, is considered to be one of the largest and longest-running financial frauds in history. Madoff convinced thousands of investors to entrust him with their money, promising them steady, high returns. In reality, he was using money from new investors to pay returns to existing investors, creating the illusion of a successful investment operation. The scheme was uncovered in 2008 and Madoff was sentenced to 150 years in prison.